This COVID pandemic that has invaded our lives this past year is certainly the worst of times, but as we saw with the actions of Irina and other righteous helpers during the Holocaust, during the darkest times, heroes can and often do emerge. Here are 3 examples of the men and women who have emerged as truly brave and courageous frontline responders during this crisis. Detective 2nd grade Dennis Canale of the NYPD has been part of their emergency services unit for the past 16 years. He is also a physician's assistant at Staten Island University Hospital. His actions and story are truly remarkable. Detective Canale is no stranger to crisis situations. He has been through 9/11 and Hurricane Sandy with the NYPD, but says that he, quote, has not seen anything like this pandemic. At the hospital where he works, he says that he sees sick people coming in daily, particularly during the peak. He does whatever he can as a doctor's assistant because he, quote, wants to provide comfort to those he sees when he sees fear in them. He mentioned that one of the most satisfying things that he was able to do was to help start the drive-through COVID testing site at the hospital in Staten Island. He says that when people would drive up in their cars, he would see fear on their faces and tears in their eyes. He said that it was his job to provide some sort of comfort, therapy for them, as he accepted prayers, thanks from those in cars and did whatever he could to make the kids laugh in the cars as well. He also said that he is, quote, just there to do the best that he can, and it makes you feel good about what you do. Detective Canale has devoted his entire life to public service and has been through so much with his fellow New Yorkers. He is a shining example of a true hero during this COVID pandemic. I was also fortunate to research and learn about Dr. Thomas Lowe, an anesthesiologist in Queens. He is literally and figuratively on the front lines as his job in intubating COVID patients, which means he is just inches away from their faces, and therefore the virus as well. He puts ventilator tubes in every patient that he needs one, and does this job because he says every patient he intubates who can survive COVID is a life saved. Dr. Lowe has an amazing backstory. He was on the 73rd floor of Morgan Stanley on 9/11 and was able to make it through alive. He said that he knew that day he needed to become a doctor to help save lives. It's quite possible that the second chance of life he got that day is one of the reasons he wants to give those with COVID a second chance, by intubating them, helping them breathe, and hopefully one day extubating them when they can breathe on their own. He's giving them that chance. This is a prime example about how someone's survival during the darkest days like 9/11 can give someone a new lease on life and allow them to pursue a new passion to help others. The COVID pandemic has also affected my family, as I am proud to say that my aunt, Dr. Carrie Greenberg, is the 3rd frontline responder at Overlook Hospital in Summit, New Jersey, and like Dr. Lowe, is responsible for intubating of COVID patients. She is inches away from the virus as well. We are so proud of her, yet concerned for her as well. She works 12 to 15-hour shifts. When she is a member of the Dirty Team, those medical professionals at the hospital that are in contact with COVID patients, she wears specialized gear, PPE, which includes oxygenated masks and shields, and gets help putting on this gear before the shifts. She's also careful not to infect herself and not to infect her family as well. When she is finally done with her shift, as she disinfects her personal possessions and changes clothes in the garage before coming into her house, and showers before seeing her children and husband. My aunt said that she is so grateful to being able to assist during these times, as she has been an anesthesiologist for over 20 years. And she is proud to be able to use her vast knowledge and experience to help save any life that she can during these times. She told me that she feels that, quote, making an important contribution in the fight against COVID, and this can teach her children and her nieces and nephews about serving the greater good and humanity as well. So as you can see, throughout the darkest times in our history, there have been many examples of ordinary people that have stepped up to do extraordinary things to help others in need while putting their own lives at risk. These 4 examples, though at completely different points in our history show just how resilient, courageous, and selfless humankind can be. This can give us all a great comfort in knowing that whenever we face such terrible and dark times in the future, there are sure to be those, whether ordinary or extraordinary, who will once again be there to help us through those times.